And
Hello and welcome to the Digital Office at Home podcast. We're so happy to see you here. Hi.
Hi.
hi, everyone.
Oh, I'm Marian LaSalle. My co-host is Gail Kendig, and our special guest today is Wilene Dunn. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Oh, good.
Good. Hi, Marian and Wilene.
You know, today is a special day for a lot of people. We do have a open to the public mastermind every morning, and we have it real early in the morning. And this morning they were talking about yesterday's, you know, the people who have a father to spoil. And they were talking about the different things that their father has done for them or didn't do for them. And I thought this was a great opportunity to talk about who inspires us. So I know our group, which means anybody who works from home, our group has a special need. We have a special need for our online friends and for the people that, you know, we don't go into a job where, you know, someone can tell us stories. There's no water cooler. We have to meet online in order to get our thrills for the day. And so I was just wondering if I could ask both of you ladies. We'll start with our special guest, Wilene, today. I want to know if you have a special story that you would like to share about your father figure, and if they supported you, if they didn't support you, and if they didn't support you, did it help you be a better person?
Well, my dad is a great provider, and I think that's really what I do with everyone. We're never the totality of our mistakes, and we're never also the totality of our awesomeness, right? So there's a good mix in all of it, and my dad was a perfect mix. But what I honor him for was that he always provided for us. He went to work every day. He worked as a Braniff welder. He welded on planes, and he did that religiously. He never missed a day. He was in and had that great work ethic. So he taught me work ethic and how to fish. I'm not particularly in need of that now, but I remember those times. There's kind of nothing like a memory of sitting out on the water, with your dad and granddad, and my whole family was kind of the outdoorsy type. Not so much anymore for me. I had an incident with my sister around bees, so I like indoors.
Yeah. All it takes.
Oh. We got a very clear picture of what you were saying there. Everyone's been stung by a bee, I think, at least once in their life,
I
or
can picture you
chased by a
running.
bee.
I can picture you running in the field somewhere. Yes.
I actually have a book called Still Running from Bees as a metaphor for how you deal with your
I love it.
past traumas,
Oh my
right?
God, I
Oh,
love it.
right?
Yeah, that book is in the wings. It's coming soon.
Oh, I can't wait
Like
to
running with
read
the
it.
bulls instead of running with the bulls. It's like
Yeah, it's
running with
still
bees.
running from bees. How the patterns that we set from our traumas kind of create our life experience.
Absolutely.
I love it. I can't wait to read it. Please let us know when it comes out.
Will do.
For sure.
Okay, great. Gail, do you have a story of how your father figure either helped you or
Well, my father figure, I guess, would be my father. He was a great father, great provider. We had 5 kids in our family, and he was always working. Um, he was great. Honestly, like yesterday, I think I told on the call today, I sent a text to my 3 brothers, and they loved that I had mentioned my dad. I said, "You remind me a lot of my dad," and I gave specific instances on each one of them, and they were so, um they said, like, a couple said it was quite an honor, like, wow, that they were being compared to my dad, so it was nice. My dad was a wonderful guy. He really was. Had a great, disposition. He was always, you know, like, mild-mannered. He just never really was explosive, or I think he spanked me once, I think, 'cause I think I had his handprint still on me somewhere, no, on my butt. So I must have done some I don't know what I did wrong, but, he was a great guy. He put up with my mom, who was like a crazy brain was, like, out there, and, it was just, like, all day long, all we would do was, like, "Daddy will be home in a little bit," you know? You know, he was like our rescuer. Everybody just gravitated towards him, and he loved the underdog, like, if there was, a special needs person who lived next door, and he always talked to the girl. She sat on the front steps and just sat there, and he would always pay attention to her, and his best friends were always people either in wheelchairs or, you know, he always was had this huge heart, and, yeah, he was a great guy. So he, I guess, would be my mentor other than, you know, my best friend, you know, like I would say is Jesus because he taught me how to love. He taught me how to love people, how to, you know, be have unconditional love from my mother, even though she was a beast. Like, you know, it was just an amazing teacher that you can transform your mind. You can literally transform your life and your mind if you grasp onto those, you know, holding your thoughts captive and making sure you're making good decisions in your thoughts that are going to move you forward. So to me, that he's the ultimate father. But yeah, I've had a great life, so I can't complain about anything. I just like love my life.
Oh,
When
that's
Marion
great.
asked that question, that's the first thing I thought. The first answer for me was Jesus.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
father figure was someone that's even higher than the
Yeah.
earthly father. Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure, because he's so you know, he's transformed my life because I've worked around his thoughts
So you're
became
a
my
good example of what a Christian should be if they believe in Jesus, or even if they don't believe, you're a good role model for people because you are truly the things that Jesus taught.
well, I
But
Well,
I
this
want
appreciate
to
that.
say,
That's
I want
good.
to tag on to that though, because just like I said, we're also not the totality of that, right? Because I've been accused of, I've done the whole disappointment thing, and people said, "Well, I thought you were a Christian." Well, I am. And it doesn't mean we
You're
don't make
human.
mistakes.
Right,
Um,
right.
it does that idea of you're an example of that. I am most of the time, and we fall down. I mean, that's what Jesus was for, right? To
That's right, that's right. We're
wipe
not
out the fall
perfect.
downs.
Yeah. We're not preaching. We're not perfect. We're just, you know, like
right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the reason I feel so strongly about this topic is because the speaker this morning on the Grow Rich Mastermind was really talking about how his father, two of them, he had his original father and his stepfather, they both treated him like you have to fend for yourself. They gave him nothing except for food and shelter. He didn't even get, training on how to drive. He had to pretend, to be have enough hours of training. He just hoped and wished that he passed the test, driver's training test. And so I thought to myself, he used that in his adultness to say, I really appreciate the fact that they made me go out and do everything on my own. Now, a lot of people wouldn't think that. They would just be bitter about how, they were just left to their own devices. And, to, it just really struck me hard about
Yeah, you're
every
right.
single person that I know has a different story about their childhood and their earthly fathers,
Mhm.
and how they were treated or not treated, abandoned. Some of them are abandoned, and some of them, don't grow up without a father figure. So their mother has to take, and sometimes the mother and the father both are gone and they have to go to some other figure. And sometimes that takes them down a path they shouldn't go down. Anyway, it really hit me strong this morning, and I just wanted to hear your all story. So I do too have a story of a father figure. My father, um, I this is so funny. When we would get in trouble, my mother would say, Fred, you have to deal with it, right? So he would send us up to our room to think about it, and he's going to come up and give us a spanking. And I remember sitting in the closet
Scared.
giggling because we knew that he was going to lean us over his lap, and now this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, and we had to try not to laugh.
How cute is he? That was
But
cute.
as I grew up, he used his voice instead of
Oh,
his hand.
oh.
So he was an opera singer, and he
Oh,
was 6'4", and he was
Wow.
a table pounder. And
mm.
so I have some PTSD when it comes to anybody yelling at me or getting upset. You know, if I see somebody's face get all red and they're getting ready to, be mean,
Hello.
ah, I'm a little kid again. So what that did for me as an adult is to treat people better, is to not yell at them,
Yeah,
is
it's
to,
great.
you know what I mean? Because I know how hard it was on me. So I think we can learn lessons. I think we can take
Like,
all kinds of ideas from our father figures,
yeah, they
I think
call
earthly
it
or
would be
not.
a good time for me to step in and kind of teach a little process around that. So I wrote a book recently called Getting My Happy Back. And in that book, it's really all about how we deal our nervous system, how it just shows up in those instances, right? Or how we're triggered with things, how the PTSD shows up. And there's a really simple process called round the world storytelling. So when something happens, and particularly with people that can't go to a water cooler. So if we're standing, we get a bad call or somebody disappoints us or somebody says no to what we're selling or why are you calling me, right? That usually takes us back to someplace, right? Someplace of disappointment in the past, because nothing happens without our agreement from the past into the now. And so this round the world storytelling is you go immediately take that story and tell it in your angry voice. I don't know if maybe somebody wants to play with this. Have you had an instance lately that you wanna sample this with me? I'll take you through it.
go ahead, Marion. I don't have an angry voice, but it's against my
Well,
religion.
just a situation that you were kind of stuck in general. You may not be on the angry side of things normally. Like I'm a blue person, so I tend more to the sad or the disappointment side of
That's
things.
me. That's me. If
Yeah.
somebody does something, I get sad. I can feel the tears behind my eyes and I have to fight not to cry.
So do you have something like that without calling anybody out that we could play with?
Sure.
Count the ways, right, Marion? When you say blue person, are you talking about like the disc or the different colors of the
Yeah, so we
oh,
qualify the 4 colors of the emotional system,
okay.
right? The red
Yellow,
is
blue, and
angry.
red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yellow's happy, green is gratitude, peace, in harmony. So what we do around the world storytelling is we go through all 4 stories in one given story, right? So we don't so we don't keep that trauma from the past or from the now in our bodies. So do you have something, Marion?
The sad or the anger?
It's not we're going to tell the story in just a story where you had conflict recently.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
There
So
you
I
go.
live in Texas and it's very hot here. So last year, it was 112 degrees outside and it was in the middle of the day. And we had stopped at the Starbucks in the parking lot. We didn't do the drive-through. We did the parking lot. And right in front of us was a truck. And inside the truck was a cage. And inside the cage were 5 puppies.
Mm.
And
Oh,
like there's no shade, there's people sitting in the car in the truck cab in the air conditioning. And so I'm getting madder by the second. I'm like, those poor puppies are sitting out there defenseless. They have no way to cool off. They're covered in fur. Hello. And I was just getting madder and madder, and I knew that if I got out of that car and went over to those people that I would lose my cool. So I asked my significant other if she would go over and do something about it because I knew she could keep her cool. And she
So
did.
that's the angry side of the story, right? Seeing those puppies, seeing that there's anger there, and rightly so. So what's the blue side of that for you? So what's the sad, that same story, feel the sad emotion around that. Give me words around sadness.
the words around the sadness are,
Helpless? Were you helpless? You felt
I
helpless?
was very helpless. I felt like, yes, if I didn't start screaming, I was going to cry for sure. So sad for those poor little puppies, sad that they had to grow up in a family that didn't think that they were worthy of having shade or air conditioning, you know. Yeah,
Comfort.
sad, very, very sad. So a mixture of sad and anger right there.
So if you take a breath into that, can you get into a space of peace around that story, knowing that even though you didn't see it, that you could know that those puppies were going to be taken care of, that they were going to be okay?
Absolutely. Because I had my recording going and I
Ah,
knew, I told her, I'm going to put this on social media if you don't do something about
oh, my liver. Oh, boy.
So
it.
that gave you a sense of peace.
Yes.
Well, you took control. That's right,
I
control there,
I
right?
forced her to, but that didn't feel good either. You know, I forced her to be nice to these poor puppies.
Well, and it's not about the external, right? In those moments, it's about us getting to a place where it doesn't rest in our body as anger or sadness, right? To get to a place where we're either in that peace, gratitude state, like I'm grateful that she did something when her hand was forced. I mean, that can even be a moment of gratitude there. And then if you can, to get to the happy side of things, is when did you see them moving them? Did you witness them doing something with the puppies after she said something?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, so
Which
that
color is happy? The green or the yellow?
happy is yellow, happy,
Yellow.
enthusiastic. That's yeah, that's the yellow. And
Sunshine.
I'll actually send you a link. It's called the mood meter, and I'll
Oh,
send you a link to put in the YouTube.
perfect.
I'm not sure how you host this, but wherever you put it, you can have a link to that, and you can go look at that mood meter. And when you get in a situation, so you're at home, you're by yourself, no water cooler, you can't go and go, you won't believe what this caller just did. You won't believe what these people. You can practice this around the world storytelling, and get to that place as quickly as possible into either green or yellow, where because if we don't, then our day gets kind of sucked up, doesn't it? It does for me anyway. If I have a disappointing call, if I don't get up and move my body or do the around the world storytelling or something to re-ground me, I'll be stuck in it because we don't have anyone to go and chat with when
Yeah,
we just need to do our own work to
that's
get us to
right.
a place of groundedness.
Well,
Well,
thank
it
you.
affects your cells. It affects your internal. You don't realize how it affects your internal cells, which can turn into very unhealthy cells in your body and attack, you
That's
know.
right.
I mean, there's a whole thing about all that. So what you think about, you bring about. So
There you
There
go.
is a whole thing about that, and getting my happy back
yeah.
is one of those books that supports how your thinking becomes illness in your body
Oh,
Mm,
my
or
liver.
pain in your
See
body.
see that? I
there
could
you
write a book.
go. There you go.
Oh,
Good.
there is a book.
You
All right.
can
Well, we'll put that book down there too.
Yes, we will.
come
Well,
come
Wilene,
right
tell
come
us.
right with me, because I actually have a process for that. I have we just started a membership site called writingthatbook.com, and it's just for those moments where you're like, I need to write this book. And then what we do is support you to do that every week, because your head will get in the game and go, well, who needs to hear from me? Everybody that, there's 9,000 books on this. But I believe that if you're called to write the book, if it's your idea, then it's your idea. So it's time for you to do it. Some people are actually never called to that, right? But I think if you are, let's write the book.
So this is a membership you've created
It's a
yourself?
membership site called writingthatbook.com.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we write on Monday mornings together as a group, and we report on our writing. So it creates an accountability around writing. And
Yeah.
if you need a different time, we can structure a different time. Our membership site is $77 a month, and there's so much involved. It just helps you get out of your way on your writing journey. And to write a book or to write articles or to write poetry, whatever you want to write, if you're even writing just for expression, it gives you kind of a set time to come write. And then we have a read and critique. If you are writing a book and you want somebody to read and critique your book, that's a part of this program. So it's very cool. And I did it because there were so many people that would do just that, Gail. They would say, I've got a book. And then you'd call them and go, are you writing? No.
But I have great ideas. Oh, mhm.
It's
That's
true.
really great that you created that. That's wonderful. How many members do you have in it now?
So we just launched a couple of months ago. So right now we have 7.
Mhm.
We're just starting to grow our site and grow the people in it to become a community of writers that want to, like I said, any kind of writing, or if you have writing as a career, like a
Mhm.
freelance writer, and you want to practice, you want to be in a group in a community of writers that can help you, give you ideas, resources where you can submit your writings. I just talked to somebody who writes for journals, uh, mostly poetry, but there's just in a group fashion, you've got a lot of people that can give you ideas of where to go and where to write and who pays for articles and who doesn't, and stay away
Wow.
from them or get involved with them.
Mhm. Cool, cool. Very
Yeah, it's
nice.
cool. I love that.
But I did that because I have a publishing company also. I actually self-published our book. Getting My Happy Back was written with a physical therapist out of Colorado. And we actually went through all the processes together that we talk about in the book because I had just had a breakup with someone, and my body was so tight. And so I literally could not take a step without thinking I was going to break in two. I was that stressed out.
Mm.
And
Wow.
she really guided me through that, and we essentially wrote a book about it, and it gave people more tools on
Mhm.
how to, deal with those kind of things, so I published it, and I've published over 300 books with different speakers, and that's another part of my business, but it all unfolds together.
Wow. Over 300 books. Oh my liver.
I
So you think
started
you're
doing
pretty good at it, huh?
I started doing that because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was a speaker agency representing speakers, and nobody was speaking. So, I mean, we needed to do something, right? And so one of the directions I headed was in the publishing world and the writing, really helping people get out of their way. Because, Gail, it's your idea. It was given to you, so it's yours to do.
Sure. Yeah.
And I want to be in that process to help people move to that next step, because if you think you have something to say, it was given to you from a higher power. So
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I'm
yeah.
ready to do a sequel to the book I have written because, as life goes on, you have so many experiences and you want to be able to share those to help other people. So,
Yeah.
I have, and even your thoughts, when you're talking to, even here we are. So all my brain's like, oh, I remembered that. I remember that. You're writing notes and, people need those stories to help their lives say, oh, I could do that or I could do that. So it
Yeah.
all helps people.
So what was your first book, Gail?
Well, Million Dollar Personality, it's called.
Okay.
It's how to turn your personality into profits. So it's basically from the Think and Grow Rich book. When I was reading it, I kept thinking, why that happened to me? Oh, that happened to me. And then I said, I should just write my own book of my own experiences. I'm not stealing from that book. They just sparked my brain to say, I should share this. And that's what I did. It's a very short book, but it's kind of humorous because I've had some funny things happen that sparked my brain to make changes in my life. And like the lady that I was a hairdresser at one time, and she told me she thought she was a wolf, and then she started howling when I was washing her hair, and and everybody's looking at me like I'm like, "It's time for me to stop hairdressing. I need to move on to something else." So those aha moments in life, so I had, so many of those, so
Oh my goodness.
should be
That's
called aha moments maybe, I don't know.
That's so funny.
so that moment gave you an aha to move to your
Yeah,
next.
like I needed to like this is not the place for me, like hairdressing. I love humans, I love people, and I love hair, creating hair. I mean, I was good at I'm still a good hair. I've been doing hair all my life, but I've been doing a lot of things all my life. So it sparked me to say, let me just write a little book, and people love it. I actually sold 2 books last week, and I thought, "Oh, that's cool." You get these little, it's not that it's on a Kindle, so it's not that much money, but you know, it's fun.
I
Yeah.
love
Well,
that.
so maybe it's time to update that book and put it out in paperback and hardcover.
Yeah, I would like to do a hardcover and update it. I do have to update it, yeah.
Let's talk. You know somebody now.
Somebody.
Uh,
Oh, my
yeah.
liver. Marion does a lot. She does a lot. She has her own community as well. She works out in she's always helping people with stuff like that, all different things. Marion's got like, tell us, Marion, a little bit about, but well, we are here to talk to Wilene, of course, but
But well, Marion, I love her program and the whole networking and how we met was, that idea of let's just have a conversation. We're not here
yeah,
to
the
get
chat,
each
coffee
other and
chat,
yeah,
the
the coffee chat.
coffee chat. When you're
Yes,
from
it's a
New York,
beautiful
it's
thing.
coffee.
I love the coffee chat because it's just so many different types of people. And the fact that I set it up like, you don't try to sell me, I'm not going to try to sell you. We're just going to have a conversation and get to know each other. Business
Absolutely.
may happen, and it usually does. One of us wants what the other has,
Yeah,
but it's not implied and it's not forced, and no one feels like they have to sell.
yeah.
I did actually have one guy who pretended that he wasn't going to try to sell me something. And at the
Sometimes,
very end, he's like, well, there's nothing wrong with sales, right? I mean, you shouldn't be so afraid of it. And
oh,
I
brother,
thought, okay.
yeah,
I quickly got him off my list. I'm like, no, I told you we're just gonna try to get to know each other. There's no selling here. And so it's not that I'm afraid of it. As a matter of fact, I love sales
Sure.
because if I'm selling something, that means I'm helping someone. And Gail
Right.
knows if I'm
right.
not helping someone, I'm depressed.
You're miserable.
So, so I have to help somebody. Is it gonna be you today?
Yeah. She really goes into a depression. She's like, "I don't know what's wrong with me." And then she goes, "Wait a minute. I haven't helped
Help
anybody
anybody
yet
today.
today." So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
And
cute.
I think that all three of us have that need to help people. And we have found things that we can sell that do that, that
Yeah,
help people move
absolutely.
forward, get unstuck. Wilene, you've already talked several things already that we can tell that you're a helper bee as well.
Mhm.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for being here with us. Is there any special, other than your writing club, is there anything special that you want to share with our audience today? How do they get a
Well,
hold of
just
you?
the
That
book
type of
and the
stuff.
processes of, I mean, when they've really supported me because when you are alone, when you're in your digital office, in your home office, learning to support yourself and how to build community around you to support you when you're not going somewhere, when you're not in groups of people. I think we're doing a little bit more of that now. We are booking again. We are doing live events again, so you can get out and meet people and network that way, but really supporting yourself and supporting each other, just like you're
Yeah,
doing, Marianne, like you're doing, Gail. The coffee chat's amazing for supporting, building community. And I just love that idea of building community, seeing the good things. We started with seeing what's great about somebody. We all have our things, right? We all make our mistakes, but we
drinks.
all have something really cool about us. So look for that. Look for
Yeah.
that something really cool and get to know that part of a person. If the other part of them is not, to your liking, but really blow up the part that's amazing about because we all have it. We all have our good and we all have our not so good.
Yeah, I'm really jonesing to get it out into the public and talk to high schoolers and, people that don't know what they wanna be when they grow up kind of thing and help them find their purpose. But I can see where you and Marion could make a good team too with the people that are in your club, if they don't have a website.
Sure.
Her websites are so great, and they really, I'm just I don't it's not a commercial for Marion, but that's really what she excels in is bringing that person to the to the rest of the world.
I
And
love that.
it's yeah, so you guys might be able to partner with some of the people in your group.
So I'm
Sure.
glad you mentioned that, Gail, because we were talking about talent the other day, and I have no physical talent. Like I'm not an artist at all. Like my stick people look like stick dogs. I mean, you can't tell them apart. I can't sing. As a matter of fact, people tell me, "Oh, no, 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 please," you know.
Just don't
Uh,
think. No, they
but
don't.
but
Stop.
I still have all this creativity inside of me, and digitally I can do it. I can
Yeah,
make things.
so
I love taking photographs. I love turning photographs and things into art.
you're
You
awesome. You are
know,
awesome with that. Yeah.
that I love color. Oh man. So I'm so happy. I don't know what I would have done if I was born before computers came
Digital.
Or
out, because
Canva creating and
I
yeah.
don't know. Well, I can't sew, I can't cook. I mean, it's like, oh, it's a good thing I got a computer.
Well, and you got a great personality, that helps too.
Oh,
Well,
well, thank you.
personality is of God, enthusiasm, entheo is the word that is from God. That's what the word entheo in the Greek means, enthusiasm, entheo. So that's why you guys are special, both of you.
Oh,
You
thank
know,
you, Gail.
just to mention my book again, not as a pitch, but that is the last chapter because Gail, I think, you summed it up. Jesus in love, right? So at the end of the book, the last chapter is called Love is All You Need. And we go through those agape and what the different kinds of loves are, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how to be connected to each other in community and love one another. And
Oh,
that's what
love
we're all
one
doing, even
another.
in our work, right? We just love
Amen. Says Star.
Yes, yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today, Wilene. We hope you
my
come
pleasure.
back and see us when your new book, Still Running from Bees, comes out, because we want to hear all about that. And Gail, as usual, you're a wonderful co-host. I just adore you. Thank you
Well,
everybody for joining us. If you want to be on our show, you're more than welcome to apply. Just go to digitalofficeathome.com and send us a message. Gail and I love meeting new people. We love talking with people. And if you have something that you need to share, and notice I said need, there you go. If you have something you want to share, you need to share, we want to help you do that. So come on down to Digital Office at Home and hang out with us. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you again next
thanks
week.
again, Wilene. Thank you. It's a pleasure
Thank
meeting you.
you.
Oh, that's true. Been a real pleasure.